Hello and welcome back again. My name is NSXTeam and today, welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Woo! So anyway, we are back. We're going to be continuing our little story. So let's all begin. The morning sun is bright through my open window, and the sound of my alarm quickly has me up and about. I slept surprisingly well last night, secure in the knowledge that at least I've got another chance with Emmy. If I can keep myself from doing anything stupid, maybe I'll find out what's been eating her recently. I have a few educated guesses, but nothing concrete, and certainly nothing that I'm going to say to her. I'd much prefer to have her tell me herself. Emmy is waiting for me, as promised, looking a little egged, but otherwise bright and cheerful. Much more so than any previous day this week. Jesus Christ. Ishno, you're late. I waved my hand dismally. Yeah, that's how you English me. Nonsense. You're just early. Emmy grins back, and it feels like we're finally back to where we should be with one another. Except now Emmy, not just me, wants to take another step forward. Although, a part of me worries that she'll back out of this at the last second. Hurry up and stretch, Ishno. I don't want to miss the bus. The bus? Yeah, the bus. I want to show you something. And I don't want to be late. Ah, okay. I try to not grin too wide. I'm happy beyond the words that Emmy wants to hang out after the run at all. But her promise of showing me something that has me even more intrigued. Is this what she had to think about? I wonder just what is she planning to do? I quickly go through my warm-up routine with Emmy, while Emmy bounces impatiently from one foot to another. She really does seem to want to get moving as soon as possible. That face. That is an amazing face. I'm just going to let that sit for a little bit, because that is the thumbnail face. Perfect. This run is over so quickly, I can barely believe that I haven't fallen over dead afterwards. Emmy set a blistering pace, and I, in my foolishness, keep up with her. Ooh. Well, until the last few steps, I had to slow down just in case. But I don't mind, and Emmy's waiting patiently for me when I finish, as patiently as she can wait. Anyways, finished. Good. Come on. Grabbing my arm, she practically rushes me down to the nurse's office. You seem to be in a hurry, Emmy. Trying to catch the early bus? Yeah, I told Mum I'll be back for lunch. Well, I'll take care of you first then. But Ishno's got to come with me too. The nurse raises a single eyebrow at this statement and peers at the two of us, searchingly. Really? Today? Huh? Emmy's respond in a nod, followed by a surprisingly shy grin. Well then, we'll make this quick. Emmy enters the nurse's office, and I patiently wait outside for her to be finished, wondering just why the nurse seemed to be surprised by Emmy's declaration. I feel like I'm missing out on some joke, or the significance of the day, beyond the fact that is clearly significant in some way, of course. True to his word, the nurse has Emmy out of his office surprisingly quickly, and I just take her place after promising to meet her at the front gate. The nurse takes my pulse and listens for a bit. Yeah, your heart beat faster than usual. Been pushing yourself again, have you? Well, Emmy seemed to be in a rush to get through the run, so... I'm not surprised. The day's rather important to her, you know. I suspected that would be the case. I have no idea why that's the case. She hasn't told you? Interesting. So you're not going to tell me either then? No, I'm not. I suspect that Emmy has her own plan for explaining today to you, and I don't want to mess with that. You'll find out soon enough. So what's the rush? Wait, so if it's like a big event to her, and it's obviously to do with something that we know about, because I can't see them introducing something new. Are we going to see the grave of her father. That's just my quick assumption. I think it might be that. Now, as for your heart, I'll take it easy the rest of the day. No plane races or anything like that. Got it. Got it. She won't have her running legs on anyway, right? No, but if you think something like that is going to stop her, good point. I don't think it'd be much of an issue today of all days, but still. If he's trying to reassure me, he's doing a terrible job. I'm quickly becoming more and more worried about what today could be for, but suddenly finding out Emmy in a cult or something. At the same time, if today is such a big deal and Emmy wants me to be with her for it, then maybe she really does want to grow closer to me. Maybe this will be the answer to all the riddles, to the sleepless nights, and the sudden mood swings. Taking a nice little drink. Alright, either way, I barely remember to thank the nurse before taking off as quickly as I dare for my room, to get a shower and throw on some decent looking clothes. If today is as important as it seems to be, I should dress appropriately. Emmy, of course, proves me wrong as soon as I reach the front gate, wearing her usual shirt and shorts. So at least I know it's not a terrible formal affair, whatever it is. You're early-ish now. Not as early as you. Eager, are we? Emmy cheekily pokes out her tongue. That was not a poking tongue out of face. God damn it, that's just opening your mouth. The bus stop isn't very crowded at this hour, which seems to please Emmy, and we end up relaxing a little as we wait. We sit in silence for a while, but I can tell that Emmy's trying to work up herself to say something. I don't have anything to say myself, so I sit waiting for her to talk. It doesn't take too long. So, I'm sure you're curious to why the nurse thought it was weird for me to bring you along today. I was a bit, yes. But if you're not ready to tell me... Emmy stops my sentence by placing a finger on my lips. Don't tempt me, Ishno. I want to tell you this, but I'm uncertain how to go about it. I don't want to keep delaying or delaying. I just want to be able to say it. So say it. You know, that's not going to be that easy for me, Hishino. So treating it like running. Warm up to it with something small and easy and go from there. But don't go too fast, okay? I'm a patient man. I can wait for you to get to it. Emmy seems to consider my words, weighing on them against what is probably a desire to get over with it. I will admit, as much as I keep telling Emmy to take her time, I wouldn't mind her getting it over with either. But somehow, I find that Emmy probably needs more time than a bus ride to provide to get it all out. Whether it is. Yeah, maybe you're right. The bus stop isn't the best place for this anyway. But just to make sure that I don't go back on my word, I will at least say this. She takes a deep breath and lets it out after a few moments in a low voice. We're going to see my dad today. Called it! I called it, motherfucker! Woo! Not the greatest thing to be proud of, but I called it, so that's cool. The words hang in the air. I can see that Emmy's afraid that I'll panic and disappear in response, which a part of me almost wants to. But it would be stupid of me to back out, or to suddenly abandon the promise I made to be there for Emmy when she needs me. The nurse thought it was so weird of me for her to bring me along, so she doesn't bring anyone along, or at least I'm willing to bet that she hasn't been before today. The day seems to have taken an even greater significance. What is it taken Emmy to get... What has it taken Emmy to even get this far? Ah. And that is the best I could manage in a response. Yeah. Shit, I hit space. I keep hitting space too much, it's stupid. Anyway, nothing. I think I just promised that you're going to come with me. Of course, you know I will. Emmy smiles, mainly looking a little relieved. Jesus Christ. Good. In that case, we better get going. The bus pulls up a little after she finishes that sentence. Vague memories of my first trip out here come to mind as I step off the bus. but unfortunately, they're too vague to be of any use. I will be the first to admit that I don't quite recall how to get to Emmy's house, so I will let her lead the way. She seems content in a walk in silence, and I myself have no idea what I could possibly say, so the two of us arrive at her, said nothing since getting off the bus. Emmy's mother opens the door and doesn't seem to be surprised to see me standing next to her. I suspect that Emmy had phoned ahead to let her mother know of the change in plans. Emmy, Ishna, you're in time. Lunch is about ready. Great. I was afraid that we might be running late. As fast as you were in this morning, I doubt there was much chance of that. I certainly hope she wasn't too much of a bother, Ishna. She tends to get a little paranoid about being on time when food's involved. I hadn't noticed. This earned a swat on my arm from Emmy, who, despite the serious nature of our conversation on the bus, and the almost brooding quiet walk, has quickly become cheerful again. Probably to keep her mother from worrying about whatever it is Emmy plans to tell me later. Her mother ushers us in, and in short order, we're around the table devouring lunch. I haven't realised how hungry I was until I got here, but for once I seem to be eating almost as much as Emmy. Goodness, it's a good thing I made so much. The two of you acting like you haven't eaten in days. Let's get breakfast this morning. Me too. Had to catch the bus, I assume. That, and I figured you make too much food so it wouldn't matter if I skipped breakfast. Well, that's good to know that I'm predictable. Emmy nods enthusiastically, and conversation falls off again as we nearly cleared the table of anything edible. It's a statement to the sheer amount of food and offer that we don't finish everything. Yeah. I lean back in my chair with a sigh and thank her mother for the food. I'm glad you liked it, Hishna. Now, has Emmy told you where you're going? Yeah, sort of. Is it far from here? Not really, but we'll drive there to save time. It closes kind of early. I nod in assent and stand up, ready to go. Well then, shall we? Her mother nods and leaves the room to grab her keys. Emmy, I notice, has started to fidget nervously. Second thoughts? Emmy smiles tightly at me and shrugs. She's fallen silent again, which probably means that I'm right, and she is starting to get bringing me along. Not that I blame her. She's done such a good job of shutting me out that I doubt it's easy to suddenly open up. Honestly, I'm worried that she's forcing it. But she said that she'll be waiting for the bus, that I'm not supposed to give her a chance to back out, and she promised to go with it anyway. I suppose there's not much of a choice. I can't go back on my promise, and she can't go back on hers. I just hope that the both of us are up to it. We're off. Emmy's mother bows through the dining room, collects the two of us, and heads out to the door at a brisk pace. Now I know where her daughter gets it from. Daughter like mother. The car pulls up at the cemetery gates, and I feel Emmy tense up beside me. I reach over and give her a comforting squeeze, which causes her to relax a little. Emmy's mother doesn't follow us, explaining that she prefers to visit the grave alone. Emmy steps through the gates and looks back, as if to make sure I'm still there. We step into the cemetery. I don't feel comfortable in cemeteries. Gravestones litter the ground, each one serving as a reminder that summer used to be alive and is no longer. How many died young? How many as old as I am now? When I do wind up with a marker of my own. How much longer do I have left? The concept of not waking up, not seeing Emmy anymore, is not a happy one. It frightens me, and I very nearly turn around and exit right then and there. I don't want to go along. Dead people, I don't want to see their stones and think about who they were, or what they could have been if they only had more time. Then I look at the girl next to me. My resolve returns, Emmy striding purposely down the path, eyes clear, setting a pace that is very nearly a jog. The sooner we get there, I suspect she thinks, the better. We're here. A gravestone, really unmarkable in everything except for the name etched upon it. The grass has grown up around the base. Emmy's eyes are relative to the stone. After a few moments, she turns around, looking surprisingly calm, yet solemn. Pink's not actually my favourite colour, you know. Oh, what? I'm warming up to it. Ah. People tend to think that pink's my favourite colour. I think it's because I like strawberries, and even though those are red, they just assume that pink's the right colour for strawberries, and that's my favourite colour. But it's not. I'm too polite to tell anyone otherwise, of course, and it's not the kind of thing worth getting worried about. But I'll bet even you thought pink was my favourite colour. Blue. That's my favourite colour. My mum and dad are the only ones who knew about that, and now you do too. Thanks for telling me, I think. You're welcome. There's a pause as she considers what to say next, drawing a quick breath. I can't carry a tune to save my life. I can hum, but actually singing the song is anything I've ever been able to do. I don't mind, because I'm not a fan of karaoke anyway. Well, that's one potential date idea out the window. People all think that I'm a super popular and friendly person, but I only have a few close friends. Probably because I keep everyone in the dark, but I don't think it's also because I hate the idea of losing a close friend. There ain't many people worth the risk. I'm terrible at saying goodbyes, yeah, we kind of realised that already. I sometimes think that I only run because it's what I used to do with my father. You're not my first boyfriend. I dated a guy for a long while during my second year at Yakumo. But in the end we broke up because I didn't want to get closer to him. He couldn't live with that distance between us. Her rate of speaking increased slightly as she's rushing to the finish line. I'm actually 1 year older than you. Everyone thinks I'm younger because I'm short, but I had to skip 1 year because of my accident. They internally thought that I was paralysed when they pulled me out of the wreckage. I lost my legs already, but they were afraid that I wouldn't even be able to use what was left of them. After surgery, it was clear that the internal assessment was mistaken. I couldn't feel my legs because of the shock, short-term paralysis due to the other trauma I experienced. My recovery was one of the fastest they've ever seen. Also, they told me. I never found out if they were serious about that, or if they told that to all the patients, learning to walk again. She pauses, gathering herself for one last effort. 8 years ago today, I lost my legs, and my father as well. He died on the way to the hospital. I didn't even get to go to the gravesite until 2 months later. I couldn't attend his funeral. So sorry. Don't be. That's what everyone says, that they're sorry. I hate hearing that. Like everyone could have done something to change what happened. You know the best piece of advice I got? These things happen. I don't even remember who said it, but I guess they didn't have anything better to say. But it's true, you know. These things happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're just they ain't necessarily planned. They ain't necessarily bad, always bad, and they ain't always good, but they are. So I made the decision that I would live without worrying about the future, and to be sure, whenever I had to say goodbye again, I decided it wouldn't let people get close to me anymore. After all, they could have taken away at any time, and you know that. She laughs, and a little bitterly. Her eyes start to swell up with tears, and I step forward to embrace her, but she holds her hand up to stop me. I'm not finished. A deep breath as she continues. It worked pretty well until I met you, and saw that you were trying to adjust stuff here, so I thought I'd help. And then you were so nice, and I couldn't help it. The tears are flowing now, and she steps to embrace this time. The rest of her sentence is muffled into my chest. I tried to not fall for you, but I did. And when I tried to keep you at distance, like my first boyfriend, I couldn't. But I've tried I've been so scared because I don't want to lose you, and I might anyway. Hey, I'm still around, right? And maybe I won't be forever. But don't you think that it'll be fun while it lasts? Neither of us could survive the day. There could be a crash or something. But as long as I know that I've been with you, I don't think it matters. I suddenly thought strikes me, and I can't help laughing. My condition has me scared of dying so badly that I immediately seized the opportunity Emmy presented to prove my odds of living longer. But without Emmy, would there even be any motivation to keep up with my running? It hits me that Emmy is the reason I keep going running every day, so I can spend as much time with her as possible. Emmy looks up at me confused. We'll go on living until we stop, and when we stop living, we'll be able to know that at least we had time together, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because I love you, Emmy. And right now, that's enough for me. Emmy smiles through her tears and steps back from me. You know, it's funny. What is? I thought that the best way to live in the moment was to do it alone, but now I don't think I have any other way. I don't think I'll have it any other way either. I'm glad I met you, Ishno. Well, these things happen. Emmy and I stay at the grave for a while as Emmy pays her respects to her father. When she's all ready to go, we exit the graveyard side by side. Emmy's mother drives us back to Yakumo, and the trip is very quiet. I wave goodbye as the car drives off, and I glance down at the girl leaning on my arm. How are you feeling? Emmy shrugs, non-convincingly. I'll be fine. Come on, let's go. We pause outside the girls' dorm, and I turn to face Emmy, ready to say goodbye. Why didn't you come in for a while? Okay. The walk up to her room is in silence, and I'm not sure why. I suppose I'll turn away at the door. I guess I just assumed that she wanted to be alone. Her mum, the nurse, hell, everybody who knew the significance of the day seemed to think it would be best to leave Emmy alone. But she took me to the graveyard with her. She told me the whole story, what happened on the day she lost her legs. She wanted me around. The significance of this does not escape me. Emmy opens the door and steps into her room, not even bothering to invite me in, holding the door for me expectantly. I step in, and the door swings shut behind me. Hey, can I ask you a favour? Sure, can't guarantee I'll do it, but... Emmy giggles and pulls me into a kiss that starts out soft, but deepens into something almost desperate. Stay with me, please. Her voice has dropped into a whisper. The question is barely audible over the sound of my own breathing. There's something about the way she asks the question, the hastily in it, the quiet voice that makes me think, does she mean tonight? No, she doesn't mean exactly what she said. Stay with me. Not tonight, or forever, because both of us know there's no such thing as forever. There's no time limit to a request, there's just the request. The favour. Can I do that? Can I stay with her? Of course. We embrace again, Emmy guiding me towards the bed, stepping backwards with care until she sits down on the edge. She's gotten off my shirt at this point, and I've suddenly lifted hers over the head, bra and all. Her shorts come off just as quickly. With practiced ease, she removes her legs and pulls me onto the side of the bed with her, my hand coming around her smooth shoulder. I cast my gaze over her face, down her neck, following the line to the swell of her breasts. Before I lower my head, planting kisses across her chest, listening to her breath itch as her hand slides further and further down my chest. As I work my way back up to her neck, I can feel her hands working at my belt. Now I fumble slightly with the buckle, now unbuttoning, now unzipping, until my pants fall to the floor. Her panties are noticeably darkened in the right place, showing that my earlier mission had proved some results. I step back quickly and shut my boxers, and move back to Emmy as Emmy reaches over into a drawer on a nightstand, removing a small foil package. She tears it open, and quickly tears and applies the protection, which as always causes me to grasp a little. Her expression suddenly changes. Now she takes the view of me in. Wait a second, are you still in your socks? I pause and look down. Apparently I am. Yeah, does that matter? Take them off. It's weird that you still have them on. You know, you've still got your socks on too. Yes, but I don't have my legs on, so it doesn't count. Nice. Unable to dialogic, I am impatient to have the conversation over anyway. I quickly remove the offending items. So eager to get back to Emmy, I practically jump on top of her, pushing her down playfully. Emmy giggles and screams quickly end, replacing by a happy sigh as I enter her. Breathing deeply as she savours the feeling, she spreads her arms to grab the sheets. Her breath is in my ear as begin moving, whispering words of encouragement, nipping at my neck, now at my mouth. My hips hit the edge of the mattress, shaking the bed. A part of my brain briefly wonders if I should try to be quieter before succumbing to the waves of pleasure racing up my spine. Emmy's stomach tenses as she grows closer to the edge, and our bodies begin both to glisten with sweat. Time begins to become hazy. The sound of my own breathing mingles with Emmy's panting, and I already myself for final urge before surrendering to the rush of the climax. Emmy's body shudders. She cries out, a finger digs into my back as I too lose control of myself. My back arcs as I let myself go, feeling my body spasm as I orgasm. I collapse next to Emmy, who's almost entirely curls up against me, smiling. Mentally, I feel grateful that Emmy keeps her nails short, otherwise I think she might have drawn blood. I sit up briefly to dispose the now used condom and lay back down next to Emmy, who in turn takes care of cleaning herself off. For a while we lay in silence, savouring the feeling of being next to one another. Emmy's the first to speak. Hey Ishno. Thanks for coming with me today. I smile and plant a kiss on her head. Of course. My pleasure. Emmy shrugs, snuggles closer, and I can feel her breathing again, to slacken as she begins to drift off to sleep. Just as she's about to fall asleep, she wakes up enough to mutter a single sentence. I love you, Ishno. And then she's out like a light, leaving me feeling like I'm on top of the world. I draw the slumbering Emmy as close as possible, pull the covers over us to keep the chill off, and fall asleep as happy as I've ever been. The morning light seems to reach further into Emmy's room than it does into mine, the result of me waking up earlier than I would have if I've gone back to my room last night, and has previous been our routine. I did not realise it until this morning, but this is the first time I've actually spent the night together. A small movement from my partner's still stumbling form causes me to look closer to the side. Her blade across her face, Emmy continued to sleep peacefully, curled up next to me. It's slightly weird seeing her without her trademark twin tails, but it's also a look I could get used to. The small size of her bed is not necessarily her curling up, but I'm pretty sure she would have done so anyway. The covers are nearly over her head. I smile as an intense stand of her causes her nose to twitch slightly. Unable to help myself, I draw her a little closer. A move which seems to think is a good idea. She suddenly rises a trail of goosebumps on my chest, but I don't mind. I am no longer tired, but I do not feel the need to move from my current position. Emmy's warm body is, in response to mine, is far too comfortable to move. I gaze up at the ceiling and consider how it is that we've got to this point. We've been close for a while, but not this close. It seems like only yesterday she ran into me in the hallways, and after apologising decided to take an interest in my well-being. But that grew into something else, which at least that was not experiencing. One thing is for certain, having found Emmy, I will try as hard as I can to not lose her. My morning musing is interrupted by further movement from Emmy. Her eyes flutter open, and she seems briefly confused by my presence in her bed, as well as her current state of dress, which is non-existent. She then smiles happily and sits up. Her face looks down at me. Good morning, Ishno. Hi. Slept well? Yeah, I did. Exhausted. Exhausting day yesterday, you know. I think back, over yesterday's trip to the graveyard. Yeah, glad to hear you slept well. How you sleep? Well, enough. So, you kept hogging the covers. This earns a quick shove and a stick-out tongue. I chuckle, and Emmy chuckles a little. And we fall quiet for a while. I soak up the feeling of how right it all seems. Waking up with Emmy by me, crammed into a bed made for one person. It's something I can get used to. Hey Ishno, Thanks for sticking around. No problem. Save me the walk back anyway, right? This draws another giggle, but Emmy's expression changes to serious again. No, really. I kept pushing you away because I thought that was the right thing to do, and you stuck around through it all. I haven't made any of this easy for you, but you stuck it out anyway. So really, I mean it. Thank you. She punctuates this by giving me a kiss, pulling back and looking at me with an expression of affection. I reach up and ruffle her hair, smiling all the time. I'm stupidly lucky, I think, to have come through everything after my heart attack, and to somehow have found this girl. It's nothing short of a miracle. You're very welcome, Emmy. I can't bear the thought of giving you up. I'll even continue to stick around if you want. I like that. That settles it then. I don't know how long my heart will keep working, and I don't even know what I'll do after this year is over. Apart from going to university. As long as Emmy's around, I think I'll be okay. I've managed to help her, and she's managed to help me. If we keep doing that, I think we'll be okay, I think. So Ishno, what do you want to do today? And that draws the story to an end. So, yeah. I knew it was near the end. I know roughly when these stories ended, because I actually got on a little bit further ahead. I just wanted to check time period roughly. I didn't know what actually happened, so don't worry about that. That was all my actual reactions to what actually happened. And I think this in the background is actually this right here. I think this is the old stuff, because if I remember correctly, this is what Emmy used to look like. Yeah, this is what Emmy used to look like. This is really old concept art. That's pretty cool. Because when I was playing this again after my first set of recording, a couple of years ago, I actually really noticed the change in some of the character art. It was actually quite surprising. And that's that. Beautiful. Well, that has been Katawa Shoujo. Like, how long ago did I start this story? And now it is finished. And yes, you can see that there's some other stuff. I have been playing through her little campaign. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's like really close to Emmy's in terms of how much I like it. But yeah, there you guys go. Hope you've all enjoyed Katawa Shoujo. And yeah, that marks the end of it. This has been a much longer episode than normal, an extra 10 minutes and so. So yeah, as always, remember to do all the normal YouTubey stuff, and I will see you all later. Till then everyone, peace out.